Ashley Tisdale's Toxic Mum TV show, Zoella's surprising life update, and Lizzo speaks out about the Khia Asylum. I'm Maggie Zhao.
And I'm Jasmine Wallace, and you're listening to Culture Club, where two writers and editors analyse pop culture, the arts, and the internet.
Today, we are on the land of the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung people of the Kulin Nations.
We would like to pay our respects to elders past and present and extend that to any Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander listeners today.
We had one of the funnest weeks in Culture Club history, dare I say.
Yes, we were in Sydney this week. We had a little Culture Club excursion where we got to host and interview Wasia Project.
Wasia Project is like one of my fave indie pop bands. We will be releasing our interview ep with them in a couple weeks' time. If you're not familiar with them, that intimately, they have that song You're So Pretty that a lot of people know from TikTok, and also it's a sibling duo made up of Olivia Hardy and her brother William Gow, and he is an actor that's in Heartstopper. He plays Tal, so I think a lot of people know him from that.
I asked my 14-year-old cousin because I was like, do you know Heartstopper?
What did he say?
He's like, I know the show, but he doesn't watch it.
He's too young.
Maybe he's, just missed the boat.
Yeah.
But we got to host the Q&A listening party, which was really fun. We've never even been to a listening party before, and then we were on stage. So it was interesting, hearing a few of the songs with the band, live in front of some of their biggest fans in Sydney.
Yeah, so that's when we played the unreleased tracks. And it was cool because I'm such a fangirl at heart. So being in a room full of fangirls, it was so nice. It was very sweet. Anyway, I had the best time, journaled about it the next day. I'm this is a memory I want to keep.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Can I tell you something else about this week? Loki, Tom and I are famous now, actually, so bow down.
We're actually famous?
Actually, we posted a video on TikTok and it got 250,000 views.
That's
and guys,
crazy.
That's not small peanuts for me.
And what was the video about?
It was about me updating him on the YouTuber Zoella and her partner Alfie Days, okay? Because, guys, if you didn't know this about me, they are my favorite parasocial family for sure. Did you?
I feel like I picked that up this week when we were talking about them, and I was like, I think it's so rude that they haven't updated their fans because they've gone missing for so long. And you were so defensive. You're like, nope, that's what they do. They do it all the time. You knew. And I was like, oh, I actually don't really watch them that much. I just know they've been famous for 13 years or something, and then they just disappear for 6 months.
Okay, let me give you the background, okay? If you aren't that familiar, Zoella is a British YouTuber. She came and rose up in the 2010s, really known for her beauty tutorials and Primark hauls and that sort of content, right? She, in the last few years, has really been known for her vlogging, and she does Vlogmas, which is her December vlogs. I won't get too much into it. I see Chaz's eyes glazing over. Yeah. Anyway, so she's known for doing just a little bit of vlogging each year. So to be honest, her disappearance, quote unquote, from the internet this year wasn't a massive cause for alarm to me. And Alfie had posted a little bit on Instagram.
Alfie is her husband.
Alfie's her husband. Not husband. They're engaged. They're fiancé. Anyway, and people had been speculating why they hadn't been online. And this past week, we got an answer. And that was what the video was about. I was telling Tom about it. Okay. This is the most crazy, answer. They are opening a donkey sanctuary.
Who would have thought?
No, seriously. They have applied to create not just a donkey sanctuary, but stables, 3 shepherd huts, parking for tractors, and a pond. And that is on a 5-acre field they recently bought near Hassocks? Near in West Sussex.
The reason that it's kind of made news, though, obviously they are super famous, but there's an interesting historical fact behind it as well. According to a report by the Mid-Sussex District Council, their land that they've bought could actually contain Roman or Anglo-Saxon prehistoric artifacts.
So they literally have to wait for paleontologists to go in, check the ground. And this is so funny because I read about this on the BBC. And I was just like, okay, what universe is this? What parallel universe are we in?
The report said that the site needs to be further understood before they can bring their donkeys in and make their family vlogs. And
then I was like, wait a second. That just reminds me of Euphoria season 3, a plot line from there with Nate. And I was like, this is too similar.
Going back to your TikTok video though, someone left the sweetest comment. I literally was crying over it this week. The comment said, Tom looks at you like you put all the stars in the sky. Isn't that just the cutest comment? And it got like 1,000 likes.
Yeah. That was so sweet because that is his true form. Like he's like, yeah.
Did he agree? He's like, yeah.
Of course. He was like, of course.
Has Ariana Grande gotten back with her ex, Ricky Alvarez? It looks like it.
So I was like, who is this ex, number one? Because I followed her exes, I would say most recently, but this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, her fifth most recent ex.
I don't even know how you could count.
Thank you.
Not slut shaming at all, but there's just been a lot.
Oh, yeah, of course. But let's just give the audience a recap. So he is actually a dancer and they met actually back in 2015 when he joined as a backup dancer for her honeymoon tour. And then they reportedly dated for around a year from 2015 to 2016. So like kind of short in the scheme of things, you know?
Of course, Ariana was most recently dating her Wicked co-star Ethan Slater, and it's reported that their relationship amicably ended after their split earlier this year. So she's single again.
They were together for 3 years.
I read a comment that said they were together longer than they wanted to be because of all the drama of Ethan leaving his wife and like newborn baby essentially for Ariana.
Yeah.
And so they're kind of like proving a point. But that's obviously all speculation and rumors.
Yeah.
We don't know these people's relationship.
They both reportedly left their respective spouses at the same time because remember Ariana was engaged to that real estate guy.
She was married to him.
Yeah, she got married, to Dalton Gomez. Yeah. So it stirred so much controversy. I think a lot of people are like, oh, now that Wicked's finished, you guys are finishing up your relationship. Like that was a lot of the talk there.
Most people probably know Ricky, though, through her reference to him in her song Thank You Next, where she wrote some songs about Ricky, now I listen and laugh. It has been replaced while she's on tour. She's on her Eternal Sunshine tour. The lyrics have been replaced.
Yeah, a few times. She's done it like a couple times and she's changed it up each time. So recently she said, wrote some songs about Ricky and they still really slap. Another one was, wrote some songs about Ricky. I know he's still got my back.
Cute. He was also spotted in the VIP section during her birthday show, apparently smiled as the lyrics were playing. So that was further creating some speculation around this pairing. I think she's probably just like having fun, seeing it, dating an old friend.
Yeah. Because they also were spotted having lunch together also in Austin where like she did one of the lyric changes. Apparently like since their breakup, they have remained friends throughout this time. So who knows? I think it's more than friends though. Like if you're bringing him to like the VIP area, you're changing like the songs, like the lyrics about him. She's rekindled something.
Do you think that's like the new... Because I feel like back in the day, it wasn't like, oh, Stevie Nicks from Fleetwood Mac brought her new boyfriend to her show. Do you think that's like quite a modern thing of like, remember when Taylor Swift brought Maddie Healy to the concerts and Travis Kelce, and like there's been other times like Phoebe Bridgers bringing Paul Mescal. Like that's very, I don't know if it's because there's so many photos taken of people with iPhones nowadays, but do you think that's like the modern, I don't know, we're dating?
Yeah, because how recent is this new introduction of having VIP areas? Usually, wouldn't like you have your special guest backstage?
Yeah,
So
why
I
is it
feel
like in the middle of the concert now?
Yeah, now it's quite on show. So I think it's very purposeful. Talk about turning lemons into lemonade. Ashley Tisdale is reportedly making a dark comedy Netflix show called Toxic Mums.
In case you missed it, back in January, Ashley published a personal essay in The Cut, which we spoke about at the time, and it was all about breaking up with a toxic, quote-unquote, mom group. And the reason that it went so crazy viral is that a few of the mums in the group are also famous. So it includes Hilary Duff, Mandy Moore, and Meghan Trainor as well. So that was like a big celebrity gossipy story of early 26.
It was so catty. Like so many people got involved as well as Hilary Duff's husband who did like a parody post about it. It got icky. Like I don't even want to go into it too much. It was icky.
But now Ashley is reportedly turning this into a TV show, which is like great for her. What do they say? Everything is copy. Like use everything you have. Apparently the writer on the show is Sabrina Giles, who did Search Party and Benefits with Friends. And stand-up comedian star Ali Wong is also executive producing. So some big names on this.
Yeah, it's definitely as well based on Ashley Tisdale's own experience. Deadline reported on this first, stating that it was, quote, based on an original idea and informed by Tisdale's experience as a mum of 2 young children.
But also, according to Deadline, we don't know if this was written before the big January blow up or if it was inspired by the blow up. I think 6 months from being having the blow up, kind of recovering from that, writing a show, getting it greenlit, getting executive producers on. Maybe it's different when you're famous like Ashley and how you have the name already, but that feels quite quick. So I wonder if she was already kind of thinking about this before the big public breakup.
I personally think that essay went viral. She was approached to make this and now they're in the stages of creating it. I don't think it's done.
Yeah, but funny that it's announced already.
Yeah, because they need to jump on the hype of it so quickly. Same thing with that Belle Burden book that went super viral. It's called Strangers, and then that was really quickly announced as a screen adaptation. I think people, as in the execs in the room, think that our attention span is so short that we're oh, quickly, we had this viral moment, now let's re-viral it with something else. Not a word, but you know what I mean.
Speaking of jumping on a viral moment, this week, a couple were taken into police custody in New York after they scaled the Empire State Building. People thought this was going to be some sort of protest or political stunt. Turned out to be a pro-peace stunt. The couple scaled to the very top of the Empire State Building, dropped a banner that read, "When the power of love beats the love of power, the world knows peace." Then they stage a dramatic marriage proposal.
Watching the live footage of this where what are they called? The news anchors are reporting on what they're seeing as it happened. Because again, no one knew that it would turn into a proposal. It was pretty funny. I kind of like that it was low stakes.
So a funny tweet that said, "Love this adaptation of Sleepless in Seattle." You know, when they go to the top of the Empire State. The couple were revealed to be 2 Russian rooftopers or extreme artists who actually had their own Netflix documentary back in 2024 called Skywalker's A Love Story.
Yeah, I think it surprises no one that we were not familiar with them. This is a different side of the internet. Their names are Angela Nicolau and Ivan Bierkus, and they have a combined 1.5 million followers on Instagram. We saw this take over our social media feeds. Like you said, a lot of memes come out of it. But what we found interesting was almost instantly there were marketing campaigns that jumped off the back of this.
Jumped off.
I know. Sorry. You said that too. And I was hee hee hee.
So this news broke in Australia first thing in the morning. And I reckon by mid-morning, 11 a.m., I'd seen about 3 different brands, all different types of brands, and also influencers who's selling products or courses or whatever, jumping on this and posting their messaging or their mission statement over the top of this banner, kind of making a joke of it. At first, it's kind of the surveillance thing we were talking about. At first glance, I was oh yeah, okay, jumping on this viral moment. It felt like a really dated marketing technique, and I wondered if it was such a thing in the early 2020s, and now it seems, because we're further into late-stage capitalism, it feels very on the nose.
Yeah, and the examples I saw were using AI to really quickly change this picture, and there feels like there's no originality behind it and there's no creativity behind it. It feels like a lazy technique, and I think you're right, because the original instance, the OP here, was posting a very nice sentiment about, peace. And then it turned into a proposal, again, a very nice thing. Obviously, I'm not being naive. This was a marketing technique for their own couple and their own following. But to turn that into quickly buy a new dress from our new collection, it's just wait, what?
Yeah, I think that's it. It's just a bit of confusion. I think it shows the state that everyone is in at the moment of just trying to sell. What's the algorithm doing? Okay, this happened, this viral thing in New York. Maybe I can get followers from that. And it just feels like this bit of almost a bit of desperation.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if it's recession core too. That kind of we need to jump on this moment now to make sales, even though it's can't we just have this random stunt moment without it needing to sell things?
On last week's episode, we had a big topic about rebranding tech surveillance on social media. We posted about this on social media and that conversation went off. And we want to kind of extend that discussion here and talk about some of the points I think that we might not have talked about last week.
To give a quick recap, Meta has released a range of AI glasses with Kylie Jenner as the face of them. The main gripe that people are having is the inbuilt hands-free camera and how that is impacting the surveillance state.
Mm-hmm. Completely. And I feel like the 2 points we didn't explicitly say, but I think we were definitely alluding to last week, is that the marketing campaign of this is focused on women, and that's very intentional because, of course, Meta glasses will disproportionately affect women's safety, right? I loved this comment from Teachers Consent, which is an Australian startup that focuses on sexual consent. They commented, repackaging surveillance tech as a fashion accessory 100% normalizes it, and attempting to feminize it builds trust with women who are ironically being sold a tool that will further oppress them and open up new avenues for stalking, harassment, and surveillance and other forms of abuse. We've already read countless reports of women who have been subjected to covert image-based sexual abuse, and the resale market for glasses that have been tampered with to remove the recording light is booming. The threats are so real.
Blue-eyed Kayla Jade, who is an Australian content creator and sex worker, also chimed in on this conversation over on TikTok. We'll play the clip now.
All the press about these glasses are how they're used by creepy men to record people. So it doesn't seem like a coincidence that all of a sudden they have a new influencer campaign targeted at women. I don't think this campaign is about getting women to buy Meta glasses. I think it's about making everyone else feel comfortable around the men already wearing them. Like they're trying to normalize them and make them more socially acceptable. I really don't think they're expecting women to start buying them. I literally feel like they're just trying to make society not associate them with creepy men.
Given the reach that this Culture Club post had, I think that it shows there is a real appetite for these conversations. We had a few messages from people being like, thank you for talking about this. No one's talking about it. And I think people are really worried about this. Some people in the comments were like, it's not that deep as well. Like we always get those. But like some people were like, oh, there's so many other things. Like, why don't you talk about like what Meta's done for the last 20 years, which we kind of do anyway. But I think people are concerned about this. And I think Meta is doing a good job of marketing with Kylie because people are starting to get defensive of it.
On a similar note, we want to talk about the rise of the celebrity Finsta account, which I think definitely does have parallels to this conversation. There was an article called The Finsta Renaissance Is Here, written by Sam Tracy for Nylon. And here they talk about like the origins of the Finsta account. So if people aren't aware, it's a portmanteau of fake Insta account, right? Did you ever have a Finsta account, Jazz?
I didn't have a Finsta. I did that whole thing of like, this is my film photography Instagram account when I was like 20.
I saw the funniest TikTok about that. And it was like what girl photography side accounts are called. And it's like Hannah.jpg.
Yeah.
Lens by Lucy.
Yeah.
All that. And I'm like, oh my God, so real.
That was me. You know, you got to have a creative outlet.
What was that username?
I feel like it was Jazz Sky Film or something.
Cool. Yeah.
I used to love film photography. Anyway, now it's really expensive.
Yeah.
So I can't do it anymore. But going back to Finsta, no, I never had a Finsta, but sometimes I consider it. I think I really use my close friend's story a lot to like supplement this, but sometimes I'm like, I just want to post like random photos that don't have any me, which I guess I could, like no one's stopping me. But I think when you have like more of a public profile, it's like everything is kind of like you are talking to so many different types of people. Did you ever have one? Because you've been on the internet since you were like 13.
Yeah.
With, you know,
the same account.
The same profile.
No, I never had one. But I think you were bang on when you said it was like you treat your close friends like a Finsta account. Sam in the article said that like, you know, the Finsta was like what close friends is now before we had that, right? So it was a place to, you know, be gossipy, post like party pics, like just post whatever. But now so many celebrities are jumping on this. Rachel Sennett, Audrey Hobart, Addison Rae, Zara Larson. There's so many and it's becoming so common now.
In the article, Sam says that even brands are now buying into this. Balenciaga creative director Pierpaolo Piccioli revealed at Keep Rolling, which has some exclusive Sarah Pigeon selfies as well as behind-the-scene dispatches. I think between this Finsta thing and the rise of Substack and also the freaking text things on Instagram at the moment where if I post just a photo dump, flop city. If you post it with some text over the top or you're like, here's what I learned about blah, blah, it goes off. And I think that at the end of the day, everyone craves blogs. We started with blogs, we left blogs, we went to Reels, and now we're going back to freaking blogs. Everyone just wants to read.
Wait, that is so good. That is such a great hypothesis, and I have to agree. Another example of like the widespread Finsta celeb account is the fact that Instagram itself has its own Finsta account. Did you know about this?
I didn't.
Yeah, it only started in October last year, and the handle is not fit for main. So they're really kind of like being self-aware about how people use Instagram, right? Do you know when people are like, oh, like that's just for stories or like that's a grid post, right? It's not fit for main. And this account is regularly taken over by celebrities. It is pretty incognito. It's got 63,000 followers now, but Meta have like in interviews like owned up and said, yeah, this is us. So it's been confirmed.
So Sam says that calling these accounts Finstas isn't entirely accurate. They write, traditional Finstas were private by design, built for a carefully vetted audience of friends rather than hundreds of thousands of followers. Nobody was building a brand on their Finsta. The entire appeal was that it existed outside the performance. What these creatives are cultivating instead is something closer to a faux Finsta, a public-facing account that mimics the aesthetics of intimacy without actually limiting access. The audience may be massive, but the goal is to make it feel small, but crucially not too small.
Sam continues, these accounts don't actually want to stay hidden. They want to be found, though not too easily or by everyone at once. There's a new kind of social signaling at play here, the desire to appear like a private in-the-know space while still letting the algorithm do what it does best, which is surface it to the right people. If you get it, you get it, and the platform will know where to find you.
I really agree with that first paragraph that I read out because I recently found Rachel Sennett's Finsta.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, we're friends. Like this real parasocial energy of feeling like you stumble upon a secret like celebrity account and they're posting just like behind the scenes of them like in a script writing workshop, or she was in Sydney for some reason and posted from AP Bakery and like where we go when we're in Sydney. We're like, oh, like she's one of us. I don't think it's a marketing thing, especially from actors like Rachel Sennett, but I think it is a really interesting way to interact with the internet.
Lizzo is back in the headlines this week after her latest album, Bitch, failed to chart after dropping on June 5th.
Right. I laugh because you were like, bitch.
Sorry.
So aggressive. The album sold 2,649 copies and brought in just under 2.7 million streams in its first week. In its second, those sales dropped to 650 units and streams dipped to just under 900,000.
It's hard reading that and hearing that, right? Because I have like, I don't want to call it secondhand embarrassment because you should not be embarrassed about that. Like, excuse me, 2.7 million streams is nothing to sniff at. But I think knowing that, you know, sales of the record in the second week dropped to 650 like items, it doesn't sound great, does it?
No. And during an interview with the Swiftologist last week, Lizzo actually reflected on those poor sales and said that the record's reception is falling short of expectations.
So she said, it dropped. And I was like, oh, okay, this isn't what I thought it would be. I didn't think it would be crazy, but I also didn't think it would be this. There was like 24 hours of my life where I based my success and my worth on a number. And I think that was soul crushing. Very like relatable, you know what I mean? Very earnest.
We don't often see celebrities who are like, quote unquote, flopping, owning their flop.
Yeah.
I think even with the Meghan Trainor thing, like she's had to cancel her tour. She's citing like family reasons, just like having a newborn in the family. But people are saying like, oh no, it's because there's no sales or there's no sales of tickets and her album's not doing that well. But she's cancelled the tour citing the family reasons. She's not kind of going on this press tour, because I also read an article in Rolling Stone as well that Lizzo did, where she's kind of like talking about it and owning it. So I think that's super interesting.
You're right. I feel like this is very uncommon. I think even removing the celebrity element on it as creatives and as artists, putting something that's so personal into the world and then being like, oh, I guess like it didn't receive the reception I wanted, and then talking about that, that's so tough. I think us as writers and working in the space, that is like kind of brutal. It's hard to do.
Bitch is also Lizzo's first album since she faced the workplace misconduct allegations from her former dancers in 2023.
Yeah, that accused her of assault, false imprisonment, and sexual harassment. She has actively and continuously denied those allegations, and the civil case is still going on.
Lizzo has also spoken about that lawsuit potentially being a reason why her album and her music isn't as popular. But also she's saying that streaming has replaced radio and she was, quote, a radio darling. She said that on X herself. When that comment came out, that also caught my attention because I wouldn't be like 2019 was like the radio era. Like I still feel like 2019 was like definitely streaming era still.
Yeah. But I do agree that I personally think that lawsuit and the other allegations against her have like 100% damaged her reputation. And I think a lot of people have kind of just steered clear from her. There's also, of course, the fall of the body positivity movement, where again, when we were talking about her radio darling era, I think a lot of people were on that body acceptance train and like actively speaking out against anti-fatness and anti-blackness as a Black woman. So I feel like she's entered her new music era in such a terrible time politically.
The Guardian US did reference that, the cultural shift and how that's impacting Lizzo. They gave Bitch 2.5 stars and wrote, "What's definitely lacking from the album is an unequivocal pop smash. The kind of thing that Lizzo once seemed to be able to write to order. Perhaps that's inevitable. One of the reasons Lizzo hit so big in the first place was that she made pop music that perfectly captured a zeitgeist, and that zeitgeist has moved on. The era of body positivity has been displaced by the era of Ozempic and Mounjaro. The kind of post-pandemic, post-Trump optimism embodied on 2022's About Damn Time now sounds like a transmission from a distant, lost age. We're living in a different world now, and Bitch suggests Lizzo has yet to work out how to respond to it. I'm doing my best," she sings on A Toast, which feels like the most telling lyric of all.
Perfectly put. One of the most fascinating conversations as part of the Swiftologist interview was talking about the Khia Asylum. And guys, we're going to talk you through this because I didn't know, and this is so embarrassing as a pop culture podcaster, I had not heard of the Khia Asylum until like a week or two ago.
So what is the Khia Asylum? It's said to have emerged on fan Twitter over the years, and it's actually a metaphorical space where people who have lost their so-called public relevance are put into the Khia Asylum. It's almost like a trial by fans, right? Where an artist puts out a song or an album and then it's like, oh, you're in or you're out. It feels very almost like America's Next Top Model or Drag Race or something like that, where it's like almost a competition.
Yeah, it's almost because like the name asylum, you know, it's kind of like a jail of sorts. And with a jail, people can be long-term residents. They can have a little breakout from this asylum as well. It's not like a lifelong sentence, but celebrities go in and out. The name, though, it actually comes from an American one-hit wonder. A lot of one-hit wonders apparently are in this asylum. Her name is Khia. So weirdly, it should be known as a Khia Asylum, but all of the members of this place have decided to say Khia, which I think is like almost like an example of like how some of these members aren't respected, right? It's like, oh, that's your name, but we're not going to call it that.
Khia is known for a 2002 track, which most of you will probably know, called My Neck, My Back, Lick It. I knew of the Khia Asylum, but I didn't know where the name came from. So there you go. Stars who have broken out of this fan Twitter asylum include Tate McRae, Sabrina Carpenter, once she released Espresso. Most famously, though, I think, are Zara Larsson and Charli XCX. So Zara was in there for a long time before her Midnight Sun rebrand.
And that's the thing, right? Like, again, celebrities come in and out of this all the time. A lot of people have pointed, I guess, to the criticisms of this asylum that it is very female-centric. In that Swiftologist interview, they even talk about it with Lizzo, saying that there actually are a lot of men in this asylum, but they don't get as much airtime as the women who are quote unquote flopping.
I don't know if I could name a single man in the Khia Asylum. Like, it's always female pop stars.
There was an article in The Conversation about this. It was called "Sending Women to the Khia Asylum is Music's Latest Cruel Trend, but it reflects an old historical bias." And that was written by James Hall.
James writes, on one hand, the Khia Asylum falls into the category of postmodern digital playfulness. Its associated content is highly ironic, cynical, and at times brain rot adjacent. On the other hand, it's a gendered pejorative that mirrors the historical pathologizing of women who, in one way or another, don't meet society's impossible expectations of them. While male artists enjoy more freedom to fail or spend time away from the limelight, their female counterparts are dubbed flops for doing the same. Once someone has entered the asylum, escape is usually only possible through significant commercial success or a dazzling rebrand.
Yeah, this is so fascinating to me. And I actually learned about the Khia Asylum because I was speaking to a PhD candidate at the University of Melbourne. Their name is Sascha Samlal, and she is literally focusing her research on fandoms and shame. So she is literally the perfect person to speak about this. And we actually got her to send through a voice note about this. So let's listen to it together.
So there's actually two ways that the term is used. First, it's used to actually celebrate niche knowledge, and it's actually used to critique the exact same things that Lizzo talks about in her interview with the Swiftologist. A lot of these fans who engage in this way are actually really fervent pop fans, and they buy physical media, they buy merch, they buy vinyl, all things to counteract this sort of monolith of the media industry that has meant that smaller artists like BB Rexha or Ava Max suffer from. So what Lizzo is actually critiquing in her interview with the Swiftologist, these fans are directly talking about in their engagement with the Khia Asylum. The second thing, which maybe Lizzo falls more into this category, is that it's actually used as a way to punish pop stars for moral or political transgressions. So often this means they'll use sentences as a way to determine the severity of someone's crime. So for example, these fans often talk about Nicki Minaj as being in the Khia Asylum, but they'll say that she's serving a lifelong sentence because she has grifted to the right. She has become MAGA, and that has betrayed all of her queer fans. So I would say that Lizzo probably falls more into that category as opposed to being someone that doesn't have cultural or commercial success, because she has been widely successful. And I just wanted to point out that maybe that this is actually a more transgressive way that fans engage in fandom. And I wouldn't, on the surface, say that it's misogynistic. I think that's a bad faith reading of this fan behavior. Thanks for having me.
So smart. I love having an intellectual academic reading on this very niche social media pop culture moment.
It's interesting that Sascha said that it's not really misogynistic. In the Swiftologist interview, Lizzo says that it's backhanded in itself to name the Khia Asylum after an incredibly talented woman from the Black community, and that the weapon targets only women and a lot of Black women as well. But she also does say that it's like a funny meme. And I think there can be layers, right?
For sure. I really think the more I learn about the Khia Asylum, the more I realize it's not what it maybe just looks like on the surface, where it's like bullying of celebrities, which is what Lizzo says. I think there are many contributing factors. I don't disagree that, it's named after a Black woman that's been shunned. And I think we should definitely consider that in our critiques of the Khia Asylum. But I definitely now, especially talking to Sascha, don't think it's all bad. Now it's time for Bookmark, where we share a recommendation from the week. Jazz, what are you sharing with us?
I have a really fun history podcast recommendation. It's brand new from the ABC, only came out this week, and it's called The Dead Can't Sue. Mm-hmm. It asks some questions like, was Bennelong an unlikely sartorialist? Did Matthew Flinders have a more than friendly relationship with the Navy surgeon George Bass? And why are we as an Australian nation so obsessed with criminals like Tilly Devine? So these are all historical Australian figures like explorers. Tilly Devine was like a crime woman, like a crime boss in the 1920s in Sydney. If you love history and a little bit of gossip as well, because the first episode talks about Matthew Flinders, aka who Flinders Station is named after. These two academics, Alicia Simmons and Lee Boucher, talk about his like erotic love letters with another man. So some queer history, Australian history, and it's hosted by PhD academics. So if you are a history nerd like I am, I highly recommend. It's only got 2 episodes out at the moment, but it's a weekly podcast. So it's really easy to listen to as well.
So good, and such a good podcast name.
And Mags, what are you recommending for us this week?
I have got a movie recommendation. It's actually a movie I mentioned on our newly launched Substack. I did not include it in our recommendations there because if you didn't know, we actually give an extra bookmarked recommendation on our Substack. But I talked about this in regards to what I did over the weekend. The movie is called Dear You, and it was just released this year, and it's a Chinese family drama film. This was so special to me, and the reason why I watched it is that it's actually in the dialect that my family speaks. It's called Yongjiu. It's a dialect from the Chaoshan region in Guangdong, again, where my family's from, and it actually follows like our diaspora. This is set like decades past, and of course, the parallels aren't very similar in my family. For instance, it follows like a young man who has to escape to Thailand to escape being conscripted into the army. And it's about like the diaspora in Thailand. But anyway, I think that this story was so beautiful. I don't even need to get into the plot much. It's just like a sprawling family drama, and it kind of centers on this type of letter. It's called Tiao, which are these letters that were used back in when this was set for communication between families that were kind of separated by borders and stuff. And this is all true. And a lot of this movie was based on found objects and like historical artifacts. This was just so special to watch. It was very moving, also quite funny at times. And of course, there were subtitles because I can't understand much of it. And I feel really like touched that it's being played in like Hoyts and like a lot of mainstream theaters here. It is like it's been a sleeper hit globally, and like it's really been an unexpected hit. And I cried so many tears, so many tears. The cinema was sniffling. So yeah, that's my recommendation.
Aw, I'm so excited to watch that.
Yeah.
I definitely will add to my list.
Yeah, I think me and some of my other Chinese friends are going to watch it together as well. I think it was funny looking around like how many white people are here? Not many. We had our white partners there, but I genuinely think like the story and the themes are so transferable across different cultures and different countries. So yeah, I think you'll love it.
That's all we have time for on this episode of Culture Club. We really hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, maybe give us a little rate and review on Apple and Spotify because it really helps us out. And we'll also link our brand new Substack in the show notes below.
We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.